Science fiction on a screen so bright, old classics and the new delights. The Unapologetic Geek will lead the way, with facts and fun to fill your day. Discussing every detail, every frame, from the eerie to the loud and the tame. Gig along with all that's great, those Sunday vibes you can't debate. Tug along with the Sunday crew, geeking out is what we do. Giggle on, it's gonna be great. Don't be late, let's celebrate.
Hello and welcome to Tug Chat, and may the 4th be with you.
Oh, that's the wrong show.
Geordie LaForge be with you.
Yes,
I'm
may
sorry.
LaForge
Wrong,
be
other day.
May the Valley Forge be with you.
Aha! Yes.
I see Chance is wearing his Darth Vader shirt. Awesome. Yes.
Disney World, Orlando, Florida.
Nice.
I've been there. I
used to work there.
Yeah.
Stereo.
I'm wearing my Grogu shirt, of course.
Oh, yes. Very nice.
I'm shamelessly self-promoting as always.
As you should.
I am in my standard uniform today. So.
He's dressed as a Canadian.
As a Leafs fan today, but not wearing the colors though. But
well, at least you're wearing the hat.
Yeah.
So everyone on the panel is a real Star Wars fan, huh? A true and blue fan, huh? Good.
Yeah,
Most
absolutely.
my entire life, as far back as I can remember, in fact.
In fact, yeah. We'll talk about it, but the first movie I remember seeing in the movie theater was Return of the Jedi. So yeah.
Gotta say, beam me up, Scotty. Do it right. I'm on the Millennium Falcon Bridge.
There you go.
That's
Very
awesome.
nice.
Hey to the chat. Hey, Joe Gutfell.
Tracy, I don't know where Chrissy is. I texted her, but she hasn't gotten back to me yet. She's probably she's going to try to be here, but she can't promise anything.
We like her, but she's not a Star Wars fan.
No, but she said she had memories that she wanted to talk about. Anyway, let's say hi to the people in the chat, starting with, of course, with Tracy.
I should have gotten out my freaking Darth Vader mug.
I mean,
Oh wait,
if I brought out all my Star Wars swag,
Is it this one, Damon?
Yes, yes. Well, no, mine's porcelain. That one
But
looks like it's
still-
plastic.
It's still
But
pretty
yes,
cool.
it's one of those. But I do have the Yoda. It's still in the box goblet.
My wife has one of those, but it's not Yoda. It's actually Grogu. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In fact, my wife has an entire shrine to Grogu. We've got like 50 different types of Grogu.
Grogu is very cute.
Yes.
Got a little lurking Jawa.
I'm more of a Vader fan personally. Ah, very nice. I would pull out all my Star Wars figurines, but they were destroyed in a galaxy far, far away a long time ago.
Yeah,
so.
Same.
Oh, no.
My brother
was a child.
put them all
I played with them. They got left in the sandbox and so on and so forth. Eventually ended up in the pile of dead toys that, ended up in a box at a garage sale that disappeared long ago.
Wiped out the war with the Micronauts.
Yes. I think they
That's a little short for a stormtrooper though.
Yeah,
Big
yeah,
one.
sure.
Big banner. 1979.
Nice.
Very cool. Yeah, my brother was into model rockets when he was a teenager, and he used to take the Star Wars figurines, put them in the cockpit of the rockets, and then launch the rockets. And when they would come down, the figurines would just be lumps of plastic, like they would have totally melted. So that's what happened to all our old Star Wars figurines.
So Tug and Thrash, you guys are the Star Wars historians. When did May the 4th begin? When was the first May the 4th be with you?
I feel like it was relatively recently. It had to have been like
10 years? Maybe
10. Yeah, I would say about 10.
Yeah.
2005 leapt into mind, but I'm not.
It's been around
that
as
seems a
long
bit
as
early. That seems a bit
as
early.
long as social media has been a big thing. It's been around. So
Yes.
yeah,
No.
Chat, let us know. Indy Spoats, that guy will know.
yeah.
Yes.
Pre
he will.
2010,
True.
I would say, but
No, not this year. I did that. I think it was last year, or on May the 4th. I dumped my entire Star Wars retrospect of all 5 movies, or Star Trek. I mean, So hi, Indy. How's it going?
Indeed.
Let's see. Hi,
up,
K
Indy?
Moonin. Yeah, the newer stuff is worthless. It's kind of like comic books. Either you collected the old stuff or you have a bunch of worthless crap on your hands.
Yeah, I got to turn this thing off so you can see my stuff. Go on.
Yeah, it's messing with your.
It's not working out.
The old
When I
stuff
heard Disney was buying it out, my heart sank. I'm like, really? You know?
Oh, nice.
This is a
I hate
Rogue
to be-
One Stormtrooper my brother-in-law gave me. Yeah, it's
Is
great.
that an original?
No, it's a Rogue One Stormtrooper.
Oh,
My brother-in-law
okay.
gave it to me, but it's
Gotcha.
graded. He grades
Oh,
toys.
nice.
He's like a manager. Anyway,
Yeah, the old stuff is valuable because the kids took them out of their packages and played with them and lost them like I did.
Right, exactly. Or,
So-
melted
so
them.
there's not many of them left. So,
That's what happened with comics.
yep.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
reason
Same thing.
old-
People
all
read them,
comics,
yeah.
They like tear them, the covers off and tape them to their
Put them on the wall. Yep.
You know,
You have to
and then in the 80s, they said, we'll start saving them. And people started buying them by the box. And guess what? When demand doesn't go down, price does not go up.
Yep.
Yeah.
right. And that's why people want the newsstand edition, because those are the ones that really got trashed on the
Yep.
spinner racks at the 7-Eleven. When the stock person would bend them, the kids would look through them. But at a comic book shop, if you got a direct edition of something, it would be typically better taken care of. So thus, there's more in better condition of a direct edition.
My
Somewhere-
or
oh, go
was it
ahead,
my
sorry.
aunt and uncle. One of my relatives thought that I was really into comic books when I was a kid and gave me tons of Star Wars comic books that I never read because I was not into reading when I was little. That was not important to me. I wanted the figurines to play with.
Were they Marvel
So-
comics or Dark Horse? You remember?
I cannot remember. I was like 6.
Somewhere in my collection, somewhere, I
Mhm.
have a comic with the title Revenge of the Jedi, right before they were recalled and
Nice.
reissued.
Mhm.
That's probably worth a few bucks.
Yeah.
You know?
And I had no concept of this stuff might be worth something someday. So all of that stuff, everything I ever owned that was Star Wars, is gone. Has been gone for years and years. So
So,
it sucks.
Cursed here says that according to the Los Angeles City Council declared the date to be Star Wars Day in 2007.
Thank
I knew it was
you.
pre 2010.
But he does
you.
say that he can trace it all the way back to 78.
Thank you, Curse Zero.
So thank you.
Say
So
by
1978. I never heard that. Sorry, go ahead, Tug.
Just saying thank you, Cursed. It's good to see you again, by the way.
zero.
Still haven't said hi to everybody in the chat. Let's see. Vim Vanderstraten is here as always. Always great to see you. Joe Gutfeld, hello. Let's see. K Munin, did I say hi to you yet? Hi.
Hey, K Moonin.
The difference between Star Wars and Star Wars: A New Hope. I don't know. Like the movie was originally just called Star Wars. It was the only Star Wars movie to be called Star Wars. I don't know.
The video cassette, maybe? Is that the difference?
Maybe. Maybe he'll give us the answer.
the trilogy video cassette setup you could buy,
So yeah, I grew up with Star Wars as long as I can remember. Like I practically came out of the womb knowing about Star Wars, and I was born the same year as Star Wars. So, I mean, I was born in '78. Star Wars came out in '78. There you go.
77.
Same here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it came
okay,
out
yeah,
in 77.
77. You're right. Yes.
We were both born in the dip between episode
1 and
4
2. Yeah.
yeah
4 and 5. 1 and 2. Whatever.
1 and 2,
There's gonna
4
be
and
so
5,
much pedantry
same
in
thing.
this episode.
Mhm. Well, it does say episode 4 right there on the the
It
scrolling
does,
part of the
yes.
beginning, so
And nowadays, if you do buy the DVDs or the Blu-rays, they all say Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. Yeah.
mhm.
This actually just occurred to me. I think I'm the only person in the chat. I know Chance. No, not possibly. I'm the only person here today who on the panel who saw Star Wars in the theaters when it first came out.
Were you there on opening night, or did you wait a little bit?
Oh, no. Well, actually, what happened was I had heard there was a new science fiction film coming out, even though it's not really science fiction. More about that later. I had heard there was this new science fiction movie coming out, and I remember like, Mom, can I see it? Mom, can I see it? We'll see. And I just figured it was like Wizards or just, one of these like little schlock sci-fi movies. And my friend started saying, "Oh my God, you have to see this film. Oh my God, you have to see this film." And I ramped up to Mom, "Can I see it, please?" To, "Oh my God, Mom, I have to see this film." And I don't mean to steal the thunder, but I might as well open some of the only person who saw it in the theaters.
I saw it in the theater 4 times too. Yeah.
When it first came out in '77.
Yep. Yeah, I'm a little bit younger than you. Yeah, I was 6 years old. But go ahead. I'll talk about it when it's my turn. Go ahead.
Oh, I was trying to figure out if you had actually seen it in '77 when it first came out. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought, like I said, I have this older cousin. He's 5 years older than me. And then when I was a child, I idolized him. And this is actually right around Christmas time because we always visit him around Christmas. And he let me come with him and a group of his friends to see Star Wars.
Oh, wow.
And I was like the king. I was like, I'm there. I'm 10. I'm with these like guys who are like 14, 15. I think I'm like it. And we go to see Star Wars and the movie. I was just like, oh, and you up until that point, I mean, I'd got to see like Godzilla versus Hedorah, and I had seen some pretty cool film on the big screen. But Star Wars, as we all know, was a movie that was designed to be on the big screen. It was like it took a page from 2001, visually, not story-wise. It was far more upbeat.
Yeah.
But I just remember getting to see Star Wars with the big kids. And I tell you, there was like before that memory and after that memory with me. I think that was what caused me to become a film buff.
That makes sense. Yeah. I can see that.
Very nice.
It was dubbed in Spanish with English subtitles, apparently, when Joe Gutfeld saw it. And yeah, the first movie, I mean, anybody who knows the history of Star Wars knows that when it was released, the studio had no faith in it. Nobody had any faith in it except George Lucas, and even he was kind of doubtful that it would actually succeed. He wasn't sure he was going to get to make another movie, like another Star Wars movie at least. Like he knew he always had Francis Ford Coppola in his pocket who could make him, who could give him movies to do. But he didn't know if Star Wars was just going to be his flash, his one chance to make a Hollywood movie. And Chrissy, I sent you the link. Get up here.
She's not a Star Wars fan.
Chrissy, join us. One of us.
One of us.
Makes me want to go get my little. I get a little foam Vader who's like this big in the other room. He holds a candy bowl.
Oh, that's cool.
And yes, you are absolutely correct, Thrash. It is the kind of movie you have to see at a movie theater, along with 2001. When the special editions came out, I really learned to appreciate that fact about the Star Wars movies. Because, like I said, I had seen like Return of the Jedi in the theaters, but I was a kid. I didn't know any better. It wasn't until the 90s when the special editions started coming out that I really got that cinema experience of Star Wars.
But Han shot first. He shot Greedo first.
Yes, the special, yes.
Of course he did.
I still prefer the originals to the special editions in many ways.
Yeah.
Thank you for that disclaimer. So I was beginning to wonder about you.
It's the original version. I hate where they edited in Jabba into friggin'
that scene
that
is
whole
just,
scene.
it's
Just like,
it
come on. And if you've ever seen the actual original scene where it's just like a big dude in a friggin' fur coat, or whatever it was, the mafia guy talking to him, it's like, I can see why they cut that scene, but they shouldn't have put it back in with like the shitty, friggin' Temu version of Jabba in there.
Well, anyone with a sense of scale will realize that Jabba is substantially smaller in that scene than he is. Later on,
he must have grown. Gigantic. He grew.
That's what the true fanboys say. It's like over the years, instead of getting fat, they just keep getting bigger, like goldfish. And I'm like,
Not if you look at the, if you pull in episode 1 and continuity there, I mean, the huts in there aren't any bigger than the rest of them. So, the ones in the stand that rings the bell by spitting the friggin' head off of whatever it was he bit.
I own both versions on DVD.
They illustrated them, the guy talking to Han. in the comic book in 1977.
Oh yeah.
Continue, Doug. I'll show it better when it's my turn.
On me boogie. Yeah, and the only one that I will give credit to is I think they did some good stuff in Empire. There were some good, like, especially the Bespin stuff. The Bespin stuff is actually very pretty. I like what they did on Bespin and Empire. But getting rid of the Cantina song in Return of the Jedi and replacing it with Jedi Rocks, that's unbearable. That gives me a migraine just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Although I am
that whole scene makes me cringe when I watch it. I'm like, oh.
I'm glad they get rid of the Unk Unk song that the Ewoks sing and replace it with just this sort of like musical.
It's just generic music.
But it's better than the Unk 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 Unk. It's like. While we're speaking of memories, does anyone else here remember the incredibly short-lived and should have been shorter-lived Ewok cartoon show?
Yes.
Vaguely, yes.
Do you remember the Droids cartoon show too?
The Droids cartoon, yeah.
Ewoks.
I remember them. I didn't particularly like them. The Droids was actually a better show than the Ewoks.
The Droids was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I was
decent.
So horrified by that point, I couldn't watch anything animated Star Wars anymore. I was traumatized.
They really tried to translate that to animation, and just through bad production and bad writing. Yeah, no, none of it really worked long term.
The Ewoks were just a stupid idea, and Lucas admitted he wanted to come up with a plush toy that could rival Care Bears, so he could make another $1 grillion in merchandising. And it failed and failed miserably.
Merchandising.
Certainly.
Where the real money from the film is made.
Spaceballs, the flamethrower. Yeah.
Lunchbox. The search for more money.
Yes.
And yeah, it was originally going to be Kashyyyk. Yeah, which he eventually did do in Revenge of the Sith. Yeah. I was the right age, so I still like the Ewoks. I don't know what to tell you.
Free country.
Yeah, I did too.
I think it was an age thing.
Yeah, I was at that age too, where I thought they were cute and I liked them and whatnot. And, them fighting the stormtroopers and whatnot was.
But I will
hilarious.
say the Caravan of Courage and the other Ewok movie, I can't remember the name of it. They're bad.
I have both of those.
I was so confused as a kid because they have these two kids in them and they dress them like a little Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia, but they're not Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia.
No.
They're completely different characters. Why did they do that?
Those movies are for kids, because I showed those to my daughter when she was like 7, I think, and because she did not like Star Wars. I tried to get her to watch. She just wasn't old enough to understand. She's still not a big fan, but when I had her watch those two movies, the Ewok movies, she loved them.
There she
absolutely
is.
loved them.
Chrissy,
what's up, Chrissy?
What's going on, my lady?
Let's see. You want me to mention the Christmas special? I'll mention the Christmas special, Danny. That's the first appearance of Boba Fett. There.
Oh, can I tell my Christmas story memory?
Sure, go for it.
Because my mom's not watching this one, so I can get away with it. I was being punished for, if I remember, I had this emotionally unstable 5th grade teacher, and in fairness, I was something of a handful as a child. So every
a handful,
week,
really?
I know, right?
Can't
imagine. But faults on both sides. For some, I was always getting into trouble. In this case, though, she thought I was fighting in the cloakroom. I was not fighting in the cloakroom, but she said that I was. I got a note home with my mother, saying I was fighting in the cloakroom. And I had this note that says I was bad, but I didn't do it. And she read the note and goes, ha ha, she told me you were going to say that, as if I was somehow now trapped. And I couldn't watch TV for a week, even though it was like Christmas time. And among all the Christmas specials that I missed that one. And with the benefit of hindsight, I was lucky. But I remember being so monumentally disappointed and telling her, I will never forgive you for this. And to be honest, I haven't. But, and she goes, you know what? I remember what she said. She goes, you can watch it next time it's on. You can watch it next time it's on. So for years, I was like, hey, Mom, guess what's not on this year? I was in college, and I was calling her up saying, hey, Mom, guess what's not on this year? Hell hath no fury of a thrash ponded. Wouldn't that be a lesson to you, folks? So that's my memory of the Christmas special.
Yeah, I never saw it, so we didn't have cable or anything when I was a kid. Lived
Yeah,
in
I don't
Canada
remember
and
seeing
all
it
that
until I was
stuff.
much
Yeah.
older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I may have seen it when I was older. I can't remember though.
I still will watch it now, just so I can tell my mother I still haven't seen it.
Everybody should see it at least once, right?
But then I'll have no leverage, except for the other things I punish her for.
But have you seen the Donnie Marie Christmas Star Wars special?
That I actually have seen, and she actually made a pretty convincing Leia.
It wasn't Christmas. I misspoke. It's the Star Wars special, the season 3 premiere from September 1977. After Star Wars had been out a couple months.
Chris Christopherson played
months.
a Han Solo.
Yes, he did. And who played Obi-Wan Kenobi? Red Fox. Fred G. Stanford.
Red Fox standing by.
Yeah, it was. And Grand Moff Tarkin was Paul Lind.
Paul Lind.
It was
That
great,
sounds
man.
funny.
My favorite Star Wars spinoff would have to be like Robot Chicken's Star Wars special
that's
that
good.
that one was good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I also like when Mark Hamill showed up on the Muppet Show. That's one of the best.
Oh
episodes of
yeah,
the
that was
Muppet
good.
We're in
yeah.
some comedy variety show planet.
Show. So, Chrissy, you, how's it going? What have you got?
Good. I'm good. I'm just glad to be here. Glad I made it. Sorry I was late.
No, it's fine. I just didn't want us to be completely railroading you. So if you had anything to say. Okay.
I saw Star Wars in 1977, but I barely remember it because I was only 3. I remember being in the theaters and seeing it. And I remember thinking, I want a Yoda. Can I take him home with me?
Aw.
I wanted a pet Yoda.
And that was before Baby Yoda.
Yeah, that's what my
Yeah,
wife
Which is
wants.
even cuter. Yeah, I remember in middle school we all started saying "Go, you must." We always had to reverse the grammar of the sentence for.
Yeah, like my dog. I pooped in your shoes. I have.
Pooped in your shoes, I have.
Let me know when we can
Oh,
talk
there
about
you
Star Wars.
Okay,
Star
Chance,
Trek.
Goddamn.
It's
I thought
LaForge.
this was
Be
Star
with you.
Trek Day. Star
Yeah.
Wars. What are we talking about?
The black hole. We're talking about the black hole.
The black. Okay,
And
all
by
right.
the way, I am a Star Wars fan, Chance.
You are. Well, that's good. to
Girls
know.
can be Star Wars fans too, you know.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you have seen my channel, right? I've done quirky facts about Star Wars.
Yeah, that's cool. I haven't seen that yet. I'll have to check it out.
Of course, that's why you didn't know I was a Star Wars fan, Chance.
Yep,
Yeah. So there, in your face.
that's right. Big Star Wars fan. You're not a poser. I believe you. I believe you.
But Yoda
So-
wasn't in the first movie.
I'm glad we have a lady on the panel.
I was about to say something about that.
I was biting through my tongue. And don't correct her on her first memory.
You must be thinking of
Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back. Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm glad that we have a female on the panel because I'm going to start with something that all the ladies and some guys like to hear. I'm going to show you a penis pic. Let me explain. Make me big. gotta see this.
I don't know if I want
First
to do
you
that.
say something
Yeah,
about a
it-
penis and then say make you big. Come on now.
Yeah, make me big.
You got to take
Check
a blue
this out.
pill for that one, man.
There were Topps cards of Star Wars 5 series in 1977, and some jokesters at Topps actually put a penis on C-3PO.
Oh,
It's the
yeah, I've
most
seen
valuable
that.
Star Wars card in existence.
Huh.
It doesn't turn up too well because I have it in this hard plastic. Yes, I said hard and penis in almost the same sentence. Sorry. Hard plastic case, but yeah, that's card number 207 because these were in numeric order, and there's the corrected one. And all these parents wrote into Topps that saw the card, and then they fixed it. They airbrushed it back off. So
Mhm.
isn't that interesting? And then
Yes.
the other thing I was
It's
going to
kinda
show you
funny.
there is the cut scene. It was in the Star Wars comic book that you talked about, Damon, with Han Solo talking to Greedo. But in the comic book, it wasn't just some rather large guy. He kind of looked like Thrash. It was this alien here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have that scene, by the way, on film. You can take me off big now. I just wanted to show the that rare card, the penis pick card.
Just really wanted to show off C-3PO's goods.
His junk. Yeah.
Was
Well,
it
hey,
detachable? Was
Han
it-
called him Goldenrod for a reason in Empire Strikes Back. And they're trying to escape off. Come on, go! Hurry up, Goldenrod! You're going to be a permanent resident. He said. Yep. I got all sorts of Star Wars stuff. But yeah,
Now, why would they have
theater?
goldenrod in a galaxy far, far away?
Because it's everywhere. It's causing allergies everywhere.
And also, the Kessel Run is a reference to World War II. How did Han know about the Battle of Stalingrad?
Good point. I never thought about that.
Well, I mean, stormtroopers, it's all, allegory for, Nazis and whatnot. So they had to throw stuff like that in there,
Hey, Tug, we got to address what Wim van der Straten said about C-3PO's silver leg. He always had a silver leg, right, Tug?
I don't remember.
Oh, and Chrissy
Yes,
we talked about
he
that.
always
on
had
her
a silver
channel.
leg. Yes.
Chrissy, go for it.
Oh my God, you and Lobo got into the biggest confrontation where you
We're not
went
supposed to
back and
mention
had
him
to
anymore.
investigate.
We're not supposed to mention him anymore. We're not supposed
I
to
know.
mention that guy.
I'm just saying that you went back to look and see if he had a silver leg.
It's a shin, actually. It's not a leg. It's a shin below the knee joint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
Your audio
While
cut
we're
out,
on the
Chrissy.
subject, if you remember correctly, in the first scene, there were 3 droids. There's another one that looks remarkably like C-3PO, only in all silver.
Yep.
Mhm.
And it just sort of deviates and goes off in another hallway. And the first time I saw the movie, I'm like, was like this when I was a kid. I used to like latch onto things. I spent the entire movie wondering what happened to that other droid because I thought they were like a triumvirate, not a
And he
duo.
returned in Empire Strikes Back. He insults C-3PO on Cloud City in Bespin. He goes, it sounds like he says eat S-H-I-T. He goes, eat shoot tight. He goes, how rude.
Right.
Remember
right.
C-3PO interacts with
Really?
the robot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
No kidding. I never put that together.
It's the same. Yeah, they just
Okay.
reused that costume. I'm going to show you the tops card of that silver C-3PO. Oh, right here. Let me pull it out. That's what she said. Sorry. There we go. Or he said. All right. I'm in a weird mood.
What
I'm sorry.
R2D2 said.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't have to make me bigger than you can see it well enough, but there's the silver robot. Look at that thrash. Can you see?
Let me
It's
get my
kinda
glasses
small.
because- yeah.
That's what she said. Yep. There we go.
There we go. There we go. Yes. Okay. Yes.
And that is card. Anyone wants to know card number yellow series, which is the 3rd series, card number 167. Cool. Nice. Thrash. Oh, I can't hear anybody.
Nobody's
Yes.
talking. That's
No,
how
yeah, we're all just sitting here
There was
watching.
a sudden
That
lull.
never
I looked over to the comments for a second, but hi guys, by the way, who I haven't said hi to, and I must confess, my mind wandered. My OCD is kicking in.
Yeah, I was also my brain was attached to the chat for a second.
Lovely.
There's another one with the silver.
I was also reading chat.
So, and for continuity purposes, okay. So, the Antilles flagship is taken by the Empire. The robot is confiscated. The robot then somehow manages to get to Bespin. Could it have been in Darth Vader's entourage when he sets up in the Cloud City prior to Han showing up?
Works for my headcanon, sure.
Sure.
Why not?
You know,
My explanation for all of this has always been that they're all mass-produced robots. So if you see one that looks like another somewhere, it's just because that was
That's
that
the whole
model.
point of droids,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they're mass-produced. There's lots and lots of them.
But if Chance is
it's like-
correct and it is the same droid,
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to figure out how. I do a whole post on what happened to Bespin afterwards because the principals all take off and get out of Dodge. The Empire is going to be coming back and it's pissed. 2 words: reprisal.
I don't imagine it would be hard to knock those things down. They're basically just on giant stilts.
A Sky City,
Yeah.
I was semi-traumatized when C-3PO lost his arm in the very first Star Wars movie when he fell off the cliff after the Tusken Raider attack.
Oh yeah, that was kind of yeah.
That was
which is
It's like
I always
Luke had
thought
his hand cut off, huh?
I always thought that whole scene was borrowed from Wizard of Oz. Remember the Scarecrow?
Oh yeah, the Scarecrow. Totally. Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's sort of a nod to the Scarecrow's attack from the flying monkeys.
Yep.
Just me.
Yeah, I saw
Respect.
Star Wars. How could you think I did not see Star Wars in the theater, Thrash? I'm the real deal, man.
Well,
I took a tape recorder and recorded the audio the whole damn movie when I was a kid.
I know I'm older than you, but I sometimes forget that we're actually closer in age than these guys.
Yeah,
So-
I'm officially an old fart.
children.
Yeah.
We grew up with it. The existence, nothing existed before Star Wars to us. So
There was
Well,
nothing
actually,
before
was
that's the
nothing
funny
before
thing is
Star Wars.
Lucas borrowed from everybody. So thankfully, Dune existed, Hidden Fortress existed, Space Battle Cruiser Yamato existed, while on the subject Wizard of Oz existed. Lucas borrowed
Foundation,
from
Flash
Oh,
Gordon.
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
everyone. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how could I have not opened with Flash Gordon?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Star Wars is, the whole thing is it's a universal good
It's an
versus
archetype.
evil,
And
story that's been told 100
It's
times.
the
before.
easiest
Yeah.
and best example
Yeah.
of Campbell's heroic journey. Like it
Yeah.
is,
The
it
Bible.
is down
Yeah.
to the T. Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and what's that British World War II film about the bombers that take out the bridge?
Oh,
Bombers that take out.
I know the movie. I can't.
Yes, it's there's Lucas borrowed very heavily from this from World War II movies as a rule.
Yeah, as a
obviously.
rule, yeah.
But there's one where the RAF have to go in this very like low bombing run to take out this bridge, which is being used for hydraulic power by the Germans, and it's actually
Vim.
remarkably similar. Oh,
I was just saying Jinx to
Oh.
Vim because he also mentioned Joseph Campbell.
gotcha. And it's actually remarkably similar to the climactic scene.
That's the one, the
in
Dam
Star
Busters.
You'd think I
Yeah.
almost could have guessed the
That's
title.
it. Yep.
Well, fortunately, there's a certain word in it that is actually historically accurate that they use, which I'm glad wasn't in the title. But moving forward, but yes, that too was a shall we say, Lucas fodder.
And yes, Chrissy is right. The original plan for Yoda was that it was going to be a monkey. That's actually true fact.
I don't think I knew that before. That's amazing. I didn't know that. Speaking of flying monkeys,
Those things.
Planet of the Apes was still a thing back then.
That would have been an interesting thing to watch. How
Well, thing
how a
today. What are you
monkey
talking about?
I'm talking about 1975 when this thing was devised. Well, Empire more so 1978 and 79.
Mhm.
Yep.
yeah. Well, Planet of the Apes was like the first movie franchise that had its own merchandising line afterwards. You had the Planet of the Apes toys, you had the Planet of the Apes makeup kit, you had Planet of the Apes pajamas. I mean, Planet of the Apes, and and Lucas clearly was borrowing again from that because, like, I want to make a lot of money. He didn't take a salary. He said, "I'll get on the back end. You let me keep the rights to all the merchandising." And they went, "Okay."
And it was 20th Century Fox. Apes is 20th Century Fox, as was Star Wars. So it was the same
Boom.
studio.
It's
Yeah,
very
exactly.
good. Give the man a cigar. In
Yeah,
fact,
wasn't
Zanuck was still
R2D2
president,
Baker?
wasn't he?
Huh?
Wasn't
Zanuck.
Zanuck?
Yeah, yeah. Zanuck
he was still president at the time.
that point. Yeah,
Who was president? In what year?
Zanuck, 74.
that was
Ford.
right before he left. Yeah,
Yeah, because he
It was
greenlit the one Lucas movie we're not talking about. He greenlit American Graffiti, if I remember correctly.
sounds right.
Which,
Yeah, he
which
had
is
a
how-
working relationship with Coppola, and of course, Coppola had George Lucas was basically his partner at that point. Yeah. And anybody know who Zanuck's wife was?
Linda. Don't tell me. Linda Harrison.
Here we go. Nova. Nova.
Right.
I almost
From
said
the
Linda
original.
Hamilton. A lot of people make that mistake, but Linda Harrison.
Harrison, not Hamilton. She fought something else.
Linda
Yes,
Harrison.
yeah, she fought. And do you know that she was almost Wonder Woman? They made a Wonder Woman pilot that was supposed to be kind of like
Yes.
kitschy and comedic, like they did for Batman.
Yeah,
It was not
same
picked up.
producers. It was
But
awful.
it was awful, but she was hot in that Wonder Woman outfit. Let me tell you,
I can imagine.
she rocked that outfit. You know,
Chrissy coming in with all the trivia.
Nice background, Chance.
Thank you. Your audio is different today. I guess you're not using a mic.
I'm not at home. I'm mobile on my laptop.
Very cool. I like the
how you doing,
different
brother?
setting.
Tug says I look young.
You do. You look young and relaxed when you're in that setting.
You do, yes.
You do. Yes, indeed.
And yes, everybody has already answered it, but yeah, it was Kenny Baker.
It's Kenny
And
Baker.
yeah, he died in 2016, according to Cursed, that sounds right.
He was also in Time Bandits, wasn't he?
He was the lead character. He was well, not the lead, but he was one of them. He was shoot. I just did a video on Time Bandits like 3 months ago. I should remember this.
Where we talked about the Shelley Duvall factoid again.
Yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. He was one of the little people in Time Bandits, yes. I think he was even the first one cast.
He played an Ewok as well, by the way. But
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll
As
forgive
did
him.
Warwick Davis. Yeah.
Mhm.
Who was not in Time Bandits.
No, but he was in Willow. Small part.
Yes, and Willow.
Sorry,
I mentioned
couldn't
Willow
resist.
earlier because I feel like those Ewok movies feel more like Willow than they do Star Wars.
They're bad. I'll give you
I
that
agree.
much. Ooh.
they are bad.
You're going to get letters,
Genuinely.
like they used to say.
Willow
Cat.
would probably be forgotten today if it weren't for Val Kilmer, I say.
I loved Willow as a kid. I thought that was a
I
great
did
movie.
too, and I still
Well,
like it, but
It's a
I-
kid's
yeah.
film.
Absolutely.
It's a kid's film. You see, that was the thing. I was in college when I saw it, and all I could think of is there's a fine line between homage and just ripping everything off.
Mhm.
Willow crossed that line.
well, what do you expect? I mean, Ron Howard. I mean, he grew up with Corman. He learned everything he had ever knew from Corman. So of course.
True. But wait. What if there was an evil queen? Yeah, an evil queen. And wait, hold on. What if the evil queen has a beautiful daughter and the swashbuckler falls in love? Yeah, I love it. It's like, oh dear God. I've played
It
Dungeons
worked
and
for Star
Dragons
Wars,
games.
why wouldn't it
with more
work for
imagination.
Willow?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, Princess Bride was insipid too, but at least had some originality to it. Ooh, again. Ooh. I know. I think I've had too much sugar.
Don't be dissing on Princess Bride here.
I'm sorry.
I
do like Princess Bride. I almost said incest bride. I do like the Princess Bride, but let's face facts. It's kind of formula with some originality to it.
Yeah.
Wallace Shawn was outstanding. He's my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, like Chrissy points out that Darth Vader only had 8 minutes of screen time in A New Hope, and yet became iconic. And again, Boba Fett, I think he has 2 lines in the entire trilogy,
Mhm.
and he became an iconic character
Yep.
as well.
And how come the Sarlacc takes so long to digest people? Wouldn't you die of thirst after 3 or 4 days anyway?
Yeah,
So-
you would just die.
Yeah,
exactly.
You
Yeah.
would have.
So-
Doesn't make
yeah.
any sense.
Not to
It
mention,
keep you alive to digest you slower.
Can you breathe down there? Is it like injecting, air into its stomach for you? I mean,
I know, really. That was cool.
I'm
I like
sure
it.
there's an explanation somewhere in the extended universe. Yeah.
It's in one of the movies. They showed Boba Fett getting out of that Sarlacc pit in one. Not Boba Fett, not Mandalorian, but one of those shows.
It was
called
Boba Fett. Yeah, the book of
yeah,
Boba
the
Fett.
Boba Fett show.
But
yeah,
I just
shows
don't
him getting
understand
out.
how they do it. It just doesn't add up to me. Although,
No.
who likes
Him getting
my
out
theory?
actually makes sense if you watch Book of Boba Fett, which I wouldn't recommend it. But it does, like him getting out makes sense. But like the idea of being digested over 1,000 years doesn't make any sense. Like,
I'm going to offend all your people in chat right now when I say I can't stand Princess Bride.
yes, your opinion on Princess Bride is well documented.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
As you wish. Hey, that's a line Darth Vader said. As you wish, when he released the guy in the Death Star
Yeah.
for the chokehold.
True.
Vader, release him. As you wish. And that line's big in that stupid Princess Bride too.
Who likes my theory, by the way, that Star Wars and Dune are in the same universe and that the Sarlacc is actually a sandworm queen?
Um,
No one. Okay, never mind.
It would have to
No.
be post. It would have to be either pre or post Dune.
although you
timeline.
can't convince me that Jabba the Hutt
Yeah.
wasn't based on
Yeah.
the God Emperor Dune.
Yeah, true. It'd have to either be pre or post because during the Dune timeline, the only space travelers were, Spice Guild or the guild were the only ones that could travel long distances in space. They didn't have hyperspace. They did point to point, so anyway, so
it was just a silly theory I came up with just to get conversation going one day, and I tried it this time. Apparently,
I mean, they did have spice in Star Wars.
The conversation.
Yeah, they did have spice.
Exist. Yeah.
Spice mines. They talk about spice mines, and
that's what Han Solo was running for the.
He was a spice smuggler. Yep.
Which is what Patrick Stewart after his side is defeated in by the Harkonnens. He becomes a smuggler until he finds that Paul's still alive.
Yep. And in the special edition, they changed it where Han Solo actually smuggled the Spice Girls in 1997. I don't know what that means. Down in the cargo hold.
Were they green?
Yeah. He'd feed them bread and water.
We're all over the place.
You see the trivia question from chat? Joe Gutfeld asked, who was the voice of Boba Fett? Oh, that's Jason Wingreen in the originals, and then Tamora Morrison.
Right. It's Tamora Morrison now.
Re-releases.
Yeah.
Very good.
I could not remember that name off the top of my head. So good job.
And Bullock was the guy in the costume, the original. Jeremy.
Yeah. I do know that. I've actually met him briefly.
You did?
Yeah, he showed up at a Star Wars screening when they were doing the special editions.
Did everyone go, Boba Fett? Boba Fett. Let me know when it's my turn. I'm going to tell you my Star Wars story.
Go ahead. It's your turn.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're being very juicy today.
Right. So. I'm dating myself, but I remember in 1976, that was a big year. That's when Star Wars went into production in terms of when it was filmed. It started production on March 22nd, 1976. Don't worry, I'm not going to make this a big history lesson. Just saying that was a big year in our country, in the USA. It was a bicentennial year, but you had Wonder Woman on the TV, Linda Carter's Wonder Woman. You had the $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman in their high point in the prime of those shows. You had all this cool stuff. And Kenner was making the $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman toys. Boy, did they hit pay dirt with Star Wars when they started actually putting out to the public in 1978 the Star Wars Kenner little action figures. That was huge. But yeah, I remember, as Thrash does, when it was not even called A New Hope. The original title was just Star Wars with the opening scroll. It is a period of Civil War. I have a film print of that in CinemaScope from the original release in widescreen, which is cool. And they're putting that in theaters. Did you mention that yet, guys? Star Wars is going to be re-released with the original version without A New Hope and without the changes of the special edition in movie theaters, select movie theaters in a city near you.
Okay,
so that'd be worth it.
Didn't know about that.
Yeah.
But no, that was just a huge year. I mean, for TV and film, and it was a game changer when that ship called a Star Destroyer went overhead, and you heard that John Williams music. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. I'm not going to embarrass myself anymore. Continuing, but you get the point. It was a movie theater theatrical Dolby stereo experience. And I just loved it. And like I said earlier, I brought in my tape recorder, saw it 4 times in the theater. Me and my friends couldn't get enough. I've got all the Topps cards. And kids, I'm so old. This is before VHS. You had to get a record if you wanted to experience the movie at home or tape record it, as I did. Let me turn off my background so you can see the story of Star Wars book. It goes like this. Sorry. It's right here. This is a really cool book. And you open it up and it has a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. It's got this nice little story of Star Wars type dealy wheelie. And it was wonderful. Did you have that, Thrash, when you were a kid?
My best friend had it, and he loaned it to me. If it's the same one, doesn't it also have the deleted scene where Biggs goes off
Biggs, right?
Yeah, goes off to join the rebellion? It doesn't have that?
It's in... No, it's not. Oh. It's in the comic book.
Can you show me the cover of that again?
Could I be wrong? I might be wrong. I don't remember it being in this, but there is a deleted moment on the record. Are you talking about in the record or in the pictures, Thrash?
In the picture book. I thought the book that my buddy had. It's almost like
this one, Story of Star Wars. You're right. You're misremembering. It's in this book.
That's
not
book.
the record album. Yes. I'll show it to you. And there's a blooper. You make me big for just a second. There's a blooper in here. There's a picture where you see Anthony Daniels' human hand to C-3PO. I'm going to show it to you right now.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I don't know if it'll show up on the camera. There it is. Look at that human hand. You see it?
Yeah.
Right there.
Yes.
Isn't that wild? Isn't that something? So, yes, it did show that. And as did the Topps cards. There you go. That's what you're referring to. There is Biggs Darklighter and Luke Skywalker on Tatooine in a deleted scene. And it was, of course, put in the story. Okay, that's all I wanted to show you. But There's the book. I mean, the record, and the record was cool because it
looks like a Simon and Garfunkel album, like just that cover.
Which is funny because Paul Simon was married to Carrie Fisher.
That's true.
Yes,
That's true. Yeah.
I got this. Hale's Books, Married to Georgia in 1978, the Star Wars album. It's just loaded with facts and trivia and photos. If you can find this on eBay, it's not that expensive. It is awesome. It's nice. It's incredible. I just love it. And last thing, the comic books. There's 107 Marvel issues. And then for Empire Strikes Back, they released it first as a magazine before they did in comic book form over 6 issues. And then there's the Return of the Jedi Marvel adaptation. This came out on May the 3rd, 1983, 3 weeks before the movie release. And it spoiled everything. It spoiled the whole thing. Now, Revenge of the Jedi.
It's a recurring motif with Star Wars movies.
Yeah, I love the artwork though, but it's issue number 27 of Marvel Magazine's super special. And Revenge of the Jedi, like to your point, Thrash, they had movie posters that said Revenge of the Jedi, and there was a movie trailer that said Revenge of the Jedi. So that's really all I wanted to show at this point.
According to Kirst, there's some kind of conspiracy theory where the Death Star was flat all along.
This is the crummy reprint, but I like it. It's big. I got that in St. Louis, Missouri with my grandparents at a Target store. We didn't have Targets in Georgia back then, but I just loved it. It reprints the first 3 issues, and of the 6-issue adaptation, the official Marvel Comics adaptation of Star Wars. And yeah, so that's all I wanted to show. And I've got some Topps cards too. All of them.
Was it Target Jimco before it was Target?
No, but here we had Rich. It was called. Oh God, what was it called? It was called something else. But I have all of the Topps cards. Richway. It was Richway. That's what it was. God dang it! And they're all falling. I knew that would happen. And how sad was it that Mark Hamill had that auto accident that damaged his face in January '77 before Star Wars was even released.
Motorcycle.
And he was supposed to be in 8 is Enough playing David Bradford, and he wanted out of that contract, and he successfully got out of that contract because he wanted to do the movie. I mean, he knew he did the movie Star Wars, and it would be huge. And then, yeah. And then he
also did the I Dream of Jeannie cartoon. Few people know that one. Yes, very few people know that one. He did the I Dream of Jeannie cartoon.
And then about the record, I didn't explain the deleted piece of audio. It's very brief. It's close the blast doors when the stormtroopers are chasing our heroes through the corridors of the Death Star, but they put that scene back in the special edition, or that audio, because you hear,
close the blast doors, open the blast doors. Yeah.
Open the blast doors, open the blast doors. You don't hear close the blast doors, but that same line is in the record album. So isn't that strange? I always thought that was
interesting.
Yeah. So all right, that's all I had to show. Next.
Did they? I thought they filmed all the desert scenes in Tunisia, actually.
They did. In Africa, the continent of Africa.
Yeah.
Well, was someone in chat debating that or something?
Yeah, he's saying a few of the dune scenes were filmed outside of Yuma, Arizona.
Well, there might have been some, there might have been some
Arizona.
There might have been some second unit photography.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
You never know.
I don't see it, Geek. I appreciate it. I've been told when I was younger I looked a little like Val Kilmer, but I don't see Mark Hamill at all. But I appreciate that. I'll take that as a compliment. Gee,
I see Mark Hamill. I do.
I'm an ugly Mark Hamill. I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, and here's my autographed Dave Prowse.
Nice.
He's gone now, sadly. In 1997, he went to the Fox Theater to promote the special edition, and I had one of these made for me and one for my girlfriend.
Isn't the line he says when he was doing the visual for that, doesn't he say, Obi-Wan killed your father?
Oh, yeah, he read the line a couple of different ways. Yeah.
Because they didn't want even him to know what the secret was?
Yes.
He was confused when he saw the movie.
Yep. They didn't want the crew to know. No. They would blab.
Crazy.
He also, like, when the first Star Wars came out, he didn't know that he'd been dubbed over until the movie came out.
That I heard, too. It broke his heart from what I understand, too. Yeah.
But after hearing what his voice sounded like, George Lucas made the right call.
Yeah, that was a really good call.
No offense, David Prowse, but...
you can't beat James Earl Jones. His voice is iconic, and just especially as Darth Vader.
I mean, he has a great presence, but the voice. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong. In Clockwork Orange, he has no lines at all.
Whoa.
You might be right.
We're all racking our brains. I don't think he has any lines at all in Clockwork Orange. You see him. He plays the male nurse,
Right.
but I don't think he ever says anything.
He was a monster in Space 1999 in season 2.
And everything.
He's
The
also
beta
a monster
cloud.
in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
He filmed that on his day off from Star Wars, by the way.
Yep, he did.
And there's a cutscene of Darth Vader that's in the Star Wars Holiday Special. It shows him stalking the halls with actor Jack Purvis. Anyway, and they showed that scene in the Star Wars Special Edition. I mean, Holiday Special. Holiday Special.
Lucas also gave Hamill a couple days off to do the Ralph Bakshi movie Wizards because it was supposed to be called War Wizards, and Lucas was afraid that would steal his thunder. It would throw people off. He goes, "Please, can you change the title of your movie?" He goes, "Fine." And Lucas was so grateful. He goes, "Oh, by the way, that kid Mark Hamill, he's supposed to do a voice in my movie. Okay, I'll give him a few days off to do the voice in your movie."
He also did a One Day at a Time around that time with Valerie Bertinelli. He played Schneider's nephew, who was a kleptomaniac. Oh crap! Things are falling everywhere.
Well, he stole our hearts, that's for sure.
And he acted in Streets of San Francisco with future Apollo and Battlestar Galactica Richard Hatch. It was an episode called Innocent No More. Mark Hamill's character played a killer. He's on trial. He's a rich kid, so he's about to get off and not, have to pay for his crimes. I have it on 16mm film, and it's on YouTube if you want to look it up. Streets of San Francisco, Innocent No More, and it's before he wrecked his face, so he's got the innocent, youthful look, his original face, Mark Hamill.
I should do a video on the Guyver.
On what?
Speaking of Mark
Guyver?
The Guyver, not MacGyver. The Guyver.
I was wondering about the Guyver.
It's a weird Mark Hamill sci-fi based on an anime. Mark Hamill's not the main character, but he's like one of the main characters.
Do a double feature with Slipstream.
Yes, very similar.
Well, just the fact Mark Hamill supporting sci-fi.
Yeah. I also remember playing Wing Commander in the 90s, the video game. We don't need to talk about the movie. Although there is a Star Wars connection that I remember to Wing Commander. The first preview for episode 1 of Phantom Menace was in front of Wing Commander. And me and my brother went to go see Wing Commander just to see that preview. And we decided, heck, we'll just sit through this movie anyway. It's Wing Commander. I played the video game. It should be fun. And there were 4 people in the movie theater. We were 2 of them. And the other 2 were just like some, I don't know. They were like tourists from England or something. And we wound up just talking through the entire movie because the movie was that bad. Wing Commander is one of the worst movies ever made.
I hate to be that guy. When you base a movie on a video game, it's usually a disaster.
Especially
typically.
back then.
Yeah.
Usually.
Mortal Kombat.
which is funny because every kid who's played a video game ever says, "Oh my god, this game would make such a great movie." Well, you say that,
At least nowadays they're kind of getting it right in a couple of places. Like the Mario movie, I mean, it's for kids, but it's actually very good.
It was fun. Yeah, that was a fun movie.
And the Fallout TV show, I think is fantastic. I think it's one of the best adaptations.
Everybody tells me I have to watch it. I haven't, but do you agree? I'm guessing.
I mean, you like A Boy and His Dog, so obviously you will like it. Yes. And yeah, Jurgen Prochnow, I think he thought he still was in Das Boot because there's this scene in Wing Commander where they hide in an asteroid and they all have to be really quiet so that the bad guys don't hear them in space.
That before. There's no sound in space, no fire in space either.
So dumb.
Did you guys ever notice how Fox reused a lot of the Lost in Space sound effects with Star Wars? Like TIE fighters, when they make their run, they go, that was a giant spider in Lost in Space, The Keeper Part 2.
That was something I realized when I started watching Lost in Space as a kid. I'm like, these are all Star Wars sounds. It's Lost in Space show ripped off Star Wars. Because I was young and stupid.
No.
So,
Cart before the horse,
But that Ben Burkett, what a genius he was to come up with those laser sound effects, just tapping like power lines, the base of power lines. So cool. So cool.
I liked the first season of The Last of Us. I don't want to watch the second season because I played the second game and I absolutely hate the story. So
Good for you. You're a
I
man of
shan't
principle.
give the spoiler away, but the reason I won't watch The Last of Us season 2 is my plan was to wait and binge watch it so I could watch it all together because I can't stand having to wait between episodes. And one day after, and all I'm going to say is after the episode 2 aired, the next day I turned on the computer and it goes, spoiler. And I almost kicked in my monitor. I was like livid. I was like uncontrollably angry. Like, why would you open with that? And so I'm boycotting season 2 of The Last of Us now.
Yeah, and trust me, it only gets worse from there. Like, as somebody who played the games, it should have stopped with just one. Like, the first season of the show should stand alone, just like the first game should stand alone. It's a perfect self-contained story. It doesn't need to continue, and it definitely doesn't need to continue the way that it does.
There might be sound in space because Katy Perry was screaming. Astronaut Katy Perry. Ah! Her and Gail King and all those witches.
She's never going to live that down.
I know.
Ever. She's never going to live that
The
down.
Wendy's. Wendy's marketing.
And then she gets on stage and starts dancing like she doesn't know how to dance. And it's just like, did you see that thing I shared on Facebook where it was comparing her to Frankenhooker?
Yes. Yes.
So it is scarily accurate.
Man, I know. What was your favorite Star Wars toy, guys and gal?
I had a I had a small it was like that big Millennium Falcon.
Okay.
And it was like I want to say it may have been made by Hot Wheels or who made
I have
Hot
it in my
Wheels?
hand. I have that very thing in my hand right now.
I can't see it.
Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, we can't actually see it.
I know I'm taking it off. I know. I realize. Take it off. Is this the one? Look, it says Hot Wheels right on the back.
It may be. Mine was all metal, with exception. I'm sorry, the top was all metal. The bottom was plastic, if I remember properly.
Well, this one's sealed, so I can't.
Yeah,
tell
it
if
was
it's metal.
from the early '80s. I mean, it was like it was all, and I still have it somewhere. I just don't know where it is. It's in a box somewhere.
I don't think it's this one. Then this is from like the '90s, I think. Yeah.
No, I'm sure they remade it at some point. But mine was from the early toy runs. And then I had what was the name of the fighter or whatever it was used on in Empire Strikes Back on Hoth. The
A-Wings or those were
the AT-AT Walker?
No. The
snow
speeder. Snow speeder.
Yeah, snow speeders. I had one of those as well from the same series. Of course, the scales are all way off, you know, because the snow speeder was as big as the Millennium Falcon. So
a T-47, according to John.
That's it. Yeah, the T-47s. Yeah. No need to load the heavy equipment.
My brothers and I, and actually John, for that matter, used to build Star Wars toys out of Legos before they sold them as kits. Like we tried to make a Millennium Falcon, failed miserably, but we tried.
There's the Star Destroyer for that opening shot that changed everything. It was a game changer. Up to then, you had like Space 1999 with impressive special effects, but come on, John Dykstra's team at Lucasfilm.
Oh, they did a great job.
The box, man. Look at this shot. That's in Tunisia at the Jawas little auction or sale, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, there they are driving. Look at the pickup truck. There's the Death Star blowing up.
Nice.
Or actually, it's an impact on the surface. Actually, it's like probably the missed shot. The missed
negative. It just impacted on the surface.
Exactly. That's what she said.
But up,
doing that. And they're making the land speeder. Look at that.
Land speeder, yeah.
I always loved the land speeder. I thought that thing was cool. I had one of those too. That was one of my favorites as well. So because I could put GI Joes in it later on when I had them instead of the.
And there's a rare profile shot of the escape pod. All we saw in the film, of course, is like the back of the thing and the front. You didn't really see the side. It was teetering along, making its way to Tatooine. And there's John Williams scoring the movie, watching a 35mm print of the climactic battle. And there he is. I mean, this book, you've got to get this book. It's not that expensive. It's just loaded with information and wonderful photos. Talking about the origin. I like this. Get me those tapes. That's not in the movie. That's not a line in the movie.
Yeah,
Darth Vader, get me those tapes. He never said that. But anyway, that's all I wanted to show.
My favorite toy that somebody else owned, because my parents didn't have a whole lot of money for expensive toys, was the Imperial Walker that my buddy down the street had. Every time I went over there, first thing I went to was that thing standing in the corner of his room and start playing with it. It drove him nuts. He'd be like, let's go play video games. Let's go ride our bikes. I'd be like, no, I want to play with your Imperial Walker.
Oh, I used to hate that when you go to your friend's house and he has a really cool toy, but then he's not in the mood to play with.
Oh, he had all of them. He had like every single Star Wars. He had the Millennium Falcon where you could pull the back off and put the people in it and play with it and everything. He had like all these Star Wars figures, and they're all free to play with because they're all been taken out and played with. But he didn't play with any of that stuff anymore. And I was just like, come on, man.
I hate that.
I had an Atari game. It was, I think it was called Jedi Arena, where it's basically just like a lightsaber on the bottom of the screen and a lightsaber on the top of player 1 and player 2, and like a drone in between would shoot lightning bolts at you and stuff. Yeah. I played the heck out of that.
I think a friend of mine had that one.
I've got an obscure trivia question. Who played this monster right here in the Outer Limits? That's a monster from the Outer Limits.
Oh, I should know the answer to that question.
I'll just tell you, Robert Duvall.
Right. That is Robert Duvall.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
I covered that episode, and I know that answer.
And this drawing always freaked me out when I was a kid. Look at that creature holding its head and its eyeball. It removed its eyeball. It's in its hand. I'm like, what?
Weird.
Sounds like the witches from Clash of the Titans or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, they needed the crystals.
The eyeball, you know.
Look at that weird shot of R2. Oh, there's where the hell is it? Excuse my language. There. Isn't that neat of R2? Like one of the actual robotic R2D.
Yeah, the remote control ones.
Weird.
Yeah.
I actually had that toy. The problem though is
it
was a hand control. It didn't actually come when you called it. It didn't actually like open doors for you. I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved it, but I'm like, they should have held out for interactive toys.
What killed me was all the crap they had back then that was like on a wire with the little hand control thing. It's like I had remote control cars. I mean, they had the technology. They called them radio controlled cars. But
there's Dave Prowse fencing with Sir Alec Guinness practicing the stunt.
Wow. Yeah.
And then look at the under mask of Chewbacca. You never see that. It looks like the Scarecrow in Wizard of Oz.
It does totally look like the Scarecrow.
Look at that. But they did such a good job with details. Incredible.
That's one thing I will give.
This book.
That's one thing I will definitely give the prequels over the original is that the fight choreography with the lightsabers. The lightsaber battles in the original trilogy are kind of pathetic.
Yeah, that's the
one in Empire's not bad, but that's about it.
That's the thing about the prequels that blew my mind when I went to see them in theater was
the first time you see like Ray Park with the dual lightsabers.
Man, just that entire like last
and Duel of the Fates music playing. Oh.
Love it.
That entire end lightsaber battle with all three of them, and just
it's worth watching the movie. Yeah.
Well, Darth Maul was a professional.
He is Ray Park. He's a professional.
Yeah, he played Toad in X-Men. Yeah, around that time.
He did play Toad in X-Men, but he is actually like a world class
what happens
swordsman.
to toads when they get struck with lightning, right? Sorry, continue.
Oh,
but that whole scene was just amazing, especially where Obi-Wan's there like waiting for the force field to open. He's just bouncing and he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get you." Anyway.
That's actually probably the best scene in the whole movie.
Yeah,
when the wall goes down and Ray Park is going back and forth like
he's pacing like a caged animal.
Yeah.
Whereas Qui-Gon Jinn meditates. So it's like you see they're two complete opposite warriors, and I thought that was actually really amazing that they actually could give you something like that. And of course, Ewan McGregor's trying to like get to him, and he can't because he's over on some other. It was actually very nicely done. The fact that it was interspersed with Anakin going in a fighter detracted from it, I'm afraid.
Woohoo!
This is pod
shut up,
racing.
Anakin.
You're ruining everything. No offense,
just shut your mouth and fly the plane. Damn it!
Although the actual pod race scene is the other highlight of the first.
Yeah, I agreed. That is the other highlight of that.
Went
that
on
movie,
too long, in my opinion.
I mean, I think it was good. I think
they were trying to create a spectacle, like in Ben-Hur, obviously.
Well, yeah, it was very heavily.
Oh, it was totally ripped off from like every racing movie ever.
When you're watching a race and you start to nod off, It's going on too long. That might have more to do with my attention span, I must confess, but still.
I'm sorry, what were you saying? I lost track.
Exactly.
This is a great 1993 compact disc collection.
I should just keep Chance on
from
big
Star
all the
Wars.
time.
I was going to
nice.
say, you know.
That's okay. I'm pretty. No, I'm kidding. I'm just showing some things that were going on in 1976 when the first Star Wars was in production. That's all.
Todd, very sporting of you to move me down so you can actually see my visage.
Yes.
You know, I kept going like.
I mean,
very sporting of you, my lad.
You're
Thank
welcome.
Yep.
Actually, you know what? I can just turn that off. There we go.
I was gonna say, Tug, it's
That's
okay if you're
yeah.
behind it because it's just a picture of you
it's
anyway.
just my
so-
face. Yeah.
Yeah, you can take me off big too. I'm not going to show any other stuff off this time.
No, this is all awesome. I'm loving it. That's great.
I'll beam aboard the Millennium
All right,
Falcon.
I'm gonna
give
go
me
get
that
my
nostalgia
Vader just because
hit.
I gotta show it to you guys.
You gotta
Please
show off
do.
something.
I would love to see it.
How does Darth Vader take his coffee?
Black.
On the dark side.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
That's nice.
Hot.
Something
hot.
dark side.
I do have some Star Wars trivia later. I've been talking too much, so some questions for the panel.
I don't mind. I really don't. Like, this was not.
I have some too. I came
She's been
prepared.
putting it in the chat.
Oh,
yeah.
good. Well, let's go with
Awesome.
yours. Let's go with Chrissy's then,
Wait, well,
because I'm just reading from a book.
D-Man. Well,
I don't know.
We'll wait for D-Man. So, Chrissy.
Yeah, definitely. Wait for you.
I want to add trivia to this trivia because I know more about this. The Death Star trash compactor, they used real garbage and the smell was so bad they started gagging. That line, "What a wonderful smell you've discovered," was actually improvised by Harrison Ford because
He was good like
that's
that.
how he felt.
Yeah, I know. Like in Empire Strikes Back, he was good at improvising those key lines, right?
Yeah, he really got.
I
into
love
it.
you. I know.
Yeah.
And just like he improvised shooting the guy in Raiders of the Lost Ark with the sword.
Exactly. Yeah, because he had a fever. Yeah.
You guys actually seen Mark Hamill do his impression of Harrison Ford?
No, I don't think I have.
It's what go on
I know he
YouTube
does
sometime.
great impressions. So
He does do great impressions, but he does Harrison Ford. And it's so cool because they obviously spent a lot of time together over the years. There's one where they're talking about it's a continuity error. Right after the trash compactor scene,
Oh, that's right.
Hamill's like, "Wait, my hair's all made nice again." By the way, people will be like, "Why isn't your hair wet?" And Harrison Ford looked at me and goes, "Kid, it's not that kind of a movie." And it's just so funny the way he does it. You know, it's you got to check it out. Oh, let's see the Vader.
You might want to make it big.
oh, that's really
Yeah, make it
cool.
big.
I'm working
Baby
on it,
Vader.
Oh,
He's a
Look
little-
at that.
Oh, I
That's
love
so
Baby
cute.
Vader. Oh.
Now, you see, he's got his hands out, so I grabbed this bowl that I had, and I was like, "Well, I wonder if that'll fit in there."
It's
So,
like a perfect
yeah.
Halloween bowl.
So
There
he
you go,
brought
yeah.
candy. He's not a bad guy. He brought candy,
Oh.
and then normally
Don't
he
choke
sits-
on it.
He sits in the corner with this on his head because I wanted somewhere to put it. So anyway,
Oh, nice. Yes.
just because.
Just
Why not?
He's got a lightsaber.
You need to get a lightsaber version.
I do need to get a lightsaber. Yeah, that'd be a lot better. But yeah, that's my little Vader.
Oh,
You're
well,
wrong,
that one's-
you know?
I'll be
That's
just give me a
so
second.
cool. That is like cool squared. I remember when I worked at the movie store years ago.
Oh,
they,
but yeah,
they had all the, we had
Chance
all
big
this, like,
again. He's showing stuff off again.
Well,
we
hold
had
on.
all this like Phantom Menace merchandise, and one it was this really cheapo plastic cookie jar of Darth Maul, and you took his head off to get the cookies, and I thought it was so sick.
Oh, that's cool.
And for some reason, it
That's
always
cool.
smelled like marshmallows, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I want somebody to buy this. It's gross.
It would make more sense if Darth Vader's smelled like marshmallows because of what Anakin went through.
It would.
I didn't want to bring out any of my other Lego sets because they're too fragile, but this one is very sturdy. This is my
You
type.
glued it together, didn't you?
No, but it's just like this one's built different. Like I've got a really big Star Destroyer, but I can't move it. There's no way I
Oh,
can bring
yeah.
that in front of the camera.
I've got a T-47 snow speeder in the box still that I've never put together that I need to put together one of these days.
Nice.
So-
And since we're talking about memories, actually one of the very first things I did with the woman who would become my wife when we were just like dating, I went to her house and we built one of those droid decas from the episode 1. Those like droids that are in the shield. We built one of those out of the Legos that are specialized, like the techniques.
Yeah, the techniques.
Yeah. It was really big. Like it was a good like 2 or 3 feet tall.
Or Lego
Crazy
actually,
kids,
yeah. That's what we were doing behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Building
Wow,
Legos.
Oh yeah.
Neither one of us can remember what happened to it, though.
It's like, so were you like,
gone. We
hey,
have no idea where it
were you like, hey, baby, you want to come back to my place and build some Legos?
That's the first time I heard it called that, but okay.
And she was like, oh yeah.
And then we went to her apartment and we built Legos.
Mhm. Good times.
But it's nothing compared to
Chance,
my
you
brother.
muted.
Oh, Chance.
Damon, it was a question for Damon, real quick.
Oh.
What did you say? I couldn't hear. Was it a M&M's Darth Vader candy distributing thing you held up?
Don't know. Somebody gave it to me
would make sense.
probably 6 years ago because they know I love Darth Vader. That's, and I don't know where it came from, where they bought it or what it was, but
Tatooine.
Yeah. Came from Tatooine.
Well, yeah.
But no, it sits on the table out in the living room, holds candy. That's what he does. So
It
That's
was
nice.
made by the midi-chlorians.
yes.
Thrash, you'll remember this. The parody of Star Wars, Hardware Wars.
Hardware Wars.
Love Hardware Wars.
Yes.
Somewhere in my tape collection, I have a copy. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll kiss $3 goodbye. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chance. Paul Frees did the narration to that, didn't he?
Yes. Yes.
I
It's
mean,
on
you know,
YouTube.
Odds
It's on
are,
YouTube.
yeah. Odds are very.
Mint Print is on YouTube. Yeah. Of that.
If there's narration in anything before like 1990, it's like a 95% chance it's Paul Frees.
He died in 1980. That's the greatest tragedy. He died at like
Really?
60 of a massive heart attack.
I thought it
Crazy.
was longer than that.
He narrated I Dream of Genie also.
Yeah.
Season 1. In the first like 8 episodes or so, 7, they had like a little introduction, origin, flashback, and he narrated it.
And anything by George Pell.
Yeah. Anything by George Bell.
He's immortalized in the Haunted Mansion at Walt Disney World and Disneyland. Of course.
He is the voice of
and on the
Haunted
record
Mansion.
album. Yeah.
Anyway, I was saying my brother actually met his wife in line to get tickets to see Star Wars Special Edition. We waited in line, or was it episode 1? I don't remember. I think it was the Star Wars Special Edition. Me and my brother went to stand in line to get tickets. This was like weeks before the movie even came out. You know, everybody was standing in line, and yeah, he met his wife there. They just started talking about Star Wars the whole time, and I'm sitting there realizing, oh crap, they're falling in love. What is this? And they had no idea. They were just talking to each other. Like they didn't even realize that they were falling in love. It was just
Aw. Star Wars brought them together. That's sweet. Hey, look at Joe Gutfeld's question in chat if you want to answer that, Tug. Or comment on
Okay. Kenner also made figures that were never released originally. The only figure I bought was the Princess Leia in a slave girl outfit.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that toy. I'm not disputing. I just don't remember it.
My
They
cousin
probably
has it.
flew off the shelves.
Yeah.
Like in the original Kenner, it says Kenner, but Kenner
Yeah.
made the special edition ones too in '97. So I don't know. It must be a reissue
Because the special editions came out. Yeah, I think that's what he's talking about.
because Kenner brought them back and they
Yeah.
made new ones. Yeah.
My-
I have
my-
cool ones where do you guys have the C-3PO where his arms and legs come apart for the Empire Strikes Back? It's an original. Like
They
no.
did. They weren't
I've
supposed
seen it.
to.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
That's funny, Brad. And I have a '90s, the cool '90s one. They had a stormtrooper where you remove the helmet and it's Han Solo underneath, like in the
Wow.
Death Star
Mm.
in the,
Right. In Star Wars.
trash
the first one.
compactor.
Yeah,
My,
yeah.
my cousin had, and I think I've told or discussed this before, but my cousin had the full original Star Wars figurines set, and he had the Darth Vader helmet carrying cases.
Yes.
Like multiple. And his growing up, he had him in his closet, and me and my cousin that was my age, because he was what 6-7 years older than us. We'd go in there and look at him, and he would always get mad at us because we weren't supposed to touch him, because he was saving them, kind of thing. But it was just so cool. He had all of them, and I mean, he still has them to this day, I'm sure. Like they're not in their original packaging anymore, but they're all mint, So he never played with them, just collected them.
I ever have your stuff stolen from another kid?
Yeah,
I did
many
twice.
times
Of
when I was a
course.
kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
then
was
you
the
go to
kind of
their
kid who would
house and
always
it's there
borrow
and you're
toys
like,
out, and
yeah.
then like, they'd
Yeah.
never give
My
it
next
back.
door neighbor did, and his name was Larry, and I would get it back. His thing was to cover his ass. He took a black magic marker and marked the bottom of my Kenner toys. And he goes, "Oh no, this is mine. See, I put black on the bottom of mine." And I'm like, "Oh come on!" I recovered it. Now, quick story. I had the Story of Star Wars hardcover version. I showed you earlier the Story of Star Wars that showed the Biggs and Luke cut scene. They had one for each movie, and it always spoiled everything. But a guy stole my 3 hardbacks, and there was a neighbor across the street who was older than me. His name was Robbie Gable, and he found out, and he was so mad. He went to the guy's house because I said, "I know he took them," and he held him down. He almost beat his butt. And he says, "You return Chance's storybooks right now, or else I'm going to kick your blank." And I got him back thanks to Robbie.
Hey,
nice.
There you go. That works.
He stole them. I knew he stole them though. Anyway, enough said.
I lost a lot of CDs that way.
Yeah.
Like, no, I always had the CD. No, you did. You took that from me.
Liar, liar, pants on fire. Good movie, by the way. Liar, 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 liar with Jim Carrey. I love that
Jim
movie.
Carrey movie. Yeah. No. It's pronounced lawyer.
I had kids that always broke my toys. That always blew my mind.
Oh, I played with them in the pool. My Millennium Falcon. I took it in the swimming pool. You know, dumbass me.
I took all my Star Wars figures and put them in put them in the bath with me. You know, R2D2, the little screw on the inside was all rusty. his head didn't want to turn anymore after a while. I took him out to the sandbox. They half of them got lost or pissed on by the cat. You know, because the sandbox was a litter box to the cat.
I grew up on the ocean, so the beach was always going to be Tatooine, and I think at least once a week, one of them got washed away with the tide or fell into the jetty,
forever.
and
it's now microplastics in all of this.
Yeah. Or it's sunk to the bottom. It'll be dug up by some future generation. You know,
what the hell is
this must have been a very
a
important
totem.
figure. Yeah, this must have
Like
been a
the
very important
ET
figure. They must have worshipped this god.
Like
And
the
it
ET
wouldn't
Atari
be wrong.
game in the landfill. The ET Atari game in the landfill. But Joe's did confirm it's the 1997
he
slave
did.
girl Princess outfit. Okay,
Yeah.
in the chat. Had to have been. And there was a mail off one. Remember that 1983? You get the Anakin Skywalker Kenner when you mail in proofs of purchase. It was a mail order.
I
only.
thought you were talking about a male version of Leia in the
Oh God, no!
What the heck?
No more.
What are you talking
Penis
about?
kick, confusion. C-3PO. Rewind the tape.
Well, I always had my theory that Carrie Fisher was. No, I'm kidding. It was Carry.
But what did you think about? I thought it was a cop out when it had Luke and Leia be brother and sister to resolve the love triangle between Princess Leia and Luke and Han. I didn't like that.
He stole that from Dune, though.
Yeah.
And anybody who says it wasn't originally part of the plan, you have to talk to John Williams and look at his leitmotifs for Luke and Leia in the original Star Wars. They're actually tied together in some musical way. I don't really understand that kind of. He indicated that he and George Lucas had already talked it all through, all the different character relationships, and he'd actually written that into the music, that they were brother and sister somehow. I don't really know the details. I'm not that kind of musician, so that's just stuff I've heard.
Speaking of parodies, I can't remember the name of it, but I remember. I think it was called Young Lucas in Love.
George Lucas in Love. Yeah,
so you guys have seen this, where it's
I
about
have seen it.
college
It's great.
years.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he finds that the girl he's crushing on is actually his sister.
Sister.
Oh God.
That's funny.
That makes
I
sense.
highly recommend that if you haven't seen it. It's great.
Mom. You know?
And there's some great documentaries on Disney Plus about Star Wars and George Lucas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just loaded. It sounds like a commercial for Disney Plus, but it's a great resource. I mean, I'm glad I'm a subscriber. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm pretty much subscribed to Disney Plus for Disney. I mean, for Star Wars and Marvel. That's pretty much it.
Same.
Yeah, same here. But
And some of the classic Herbie movies, maybe, or something like that. I love
Yeah,
Herbie.
every once in a while that'd be fun. I remember the very first thing I ever watched on Disney Plus when it first came out was the movie Miracle, which is my favorite hockey movie. So.
Oh yeah, great movie.
Oh, and trivia question: they did not win the gold by beating the Russians. Who did they have to beat to win the gold?
I know that.
Everybody forgets this part.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's
but
a
yeah,
postscript. Anyone? I'll give another. Indy will
I don't
know.
remember. Indy will know. Yeah,
Indy will know. So, yeah. I'll just say
Stormtroopers.
Sweden.
Yep.
Oh,
Sweden.
you're right. It was Sweden.
Oh, there we go,
Yeah,
Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody forgets that we beat the Russians and won the gold. Well, yes, but there were two.
There was a
steps
step in
there.
between. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You mentioned Stormtroopers and hockey. You got to talk about Strange Brew. Where Darth Vader. And hockey.
Yeah.
I loved that movie when I was a kid. I don't know. I love that
Oh
movie.
yeah. It's a
Yeah,
good
that
movie.
and Spaceballs.
Yeah.
There's a mouse in my beard.
I
the
became
milk-
a beer drinker before I could even drink beer, thanks to the McKenzie brothers. They made drinking beer cool.
And how about Max von Sydow, right? Thrash?
Oh, of course. He's
Oh,
great.
Of course.
Emperor Ming. And I mean, Star Wars
Emperor
broke new roads. Like, think about that. Would there be a Flash Gordon movie? Would there have been a Battlestar Galactica? No, because
No, those were made in direct response to Star Wars.
movie.
I remember Sydow actually from the Swedish films, the Bergman films he did.
Of course. Yeah.
Seventh Seal, and what was the other one? The one that Last House on the Left is based on.
I was just thinking of Seventh Seal. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I was a Bergman fan even in high school. So
I'll look it up.
I owe BBB an apology because I got something wrong last time I was on her stream with the group, her Saturday night stream on Brainbender's Banner. When she introduced me, I had a little trivia question relating to Star Wars. I said, "What is this line from?" Clear Bay 37. We're opening the magnetic field. It's 337. I rewatched it.
Oh no!
It's
How could
day
you?
337, not 37. So I just want to set the record straight when I make a mistake.
well played. Oh, and Vim says it was called the Virgin Spring.
The
And
Virgin
according to
Spring.
Indy- and according to Indy, it was Finland that we defeated to win the gold. And I guess I'm wrong too. I could have sworn it was Sweden. One of those Scandinavian countries.
You brought it up.
I know.
You got
I
your own trivia wrong.
Well, because I remembered it wrong all these years. I would have sworn it was Sweden. I must have Finland syndrome.
It's okay, man. You're more than lovable, dude. You make up for any blunder. Okay.
Bye, K Moonin. And yeah, I get a lot of things wrong, and I don't care.
You're not gonna
Leave a comment
apologize.
and tell me all the things I get wrong. It works on the algorithm.
Yeah, he's not going to apologize.
Yeah. When you brand yourself as some sort of historian, you should get it right. That's just my
I
opinion.
do try to get
know
everything
what I
right,
mean?
of course.
I'm talking about me. I'm not talking about you. That was not a dig at you, Tug. I'm just
No,
saying.
I
I try to get it right when I
I do
can.
care. I'm just playing a part.
Mhm.
I'm as big a pedant as any of you.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought the remote controlled R2D2 Thrash. That was cool. I forgot all about that toy.
Oh yes, thank you.
I have the,
I
uh,
don't think-
no idea.
yeah.
The Death Star
The radio
PlayStation.
control, yeah.
Remember the Death Star PlayStation set? My
I-
girlfriend
I-
bought that for me in '97. I never had it as a kid. It was from 1978, and it showed the monster in the garbage compactor that pulls down Luke.
Yes, my
actually
buddy
had
had
a-
that. My buddy had
Yeah,
that.
a little rubber green. Yeah, because you just saw his little eyeball pop up in the film,
Mhm.
and he was like a little dragon creature, had a tail and everything.
Yeah, it
Cool
was
little
cool.
monster.
Yeah, it's cool. It was a cool monster. Yeah,
Little trivia for you out there from the original Kenner Star Wars toy line.
but
You
yeah,
see that
like I said, my friend had that. I had a friend whose parents spoiled him, and he had everything.
Yep.
Did he have a Millennium Falcon too? Because you had to choose. Those were the two big ones for the first film. The most expensive ones were the Death Star PlayStation set and the Millennium Falcon. I got the Millennium Falcon. My folks said you can get one or the other. I said I got to get the Falcon.
What a piece of
Remember when I talked
junk.
about the rich kid who was the first kid in my neighborhood to have a microwave? That was the same kid.
Did you have a Betamax in 1977
I think he
or a
he-
VHS? He
I
probably
think he
did.
had Laserdisc. To
There
be
you go.
honest with you. I think he had
Laserdisc.
Video disc. It was called it was
Yeah.
before it was even
Mhm.
Laserdisc. It was like, yeah, Disco Rama, Disco Vision. That's what it was.
Let's go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend John is the guy who had a Laserdisc player back in the old days.
When I was a kid, if you had a VHS or a VCR, you were
Yeah,
on top of the world.
same.
What-
we were
what
trying.
was
We were
expensive?
pretending to be rich back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like 13 or 14, and I called a girl, and she answered the phone. She goes, "Oh, let me take this in the room." And I go, "Okay, I'll wait till you pick up the other phone in the other room." And she's like, "Oh no, I can keep talking. I have
I'm on a
cordless
portable."
phone." And I went, "I am so out of my league here. This girl has a cordless phone. Oh wow."
I remember the big
Waiting.
thing. The big thing when I was a teen was when people had their own dedicated phone line. When
Oh,
you
yeah.
call it's like, oh, you can
Multiple
call me
phone lines.
anytime. It's my own line. you know, and it's like,
Crazy.
I wasn't that far out of my league.
Yeah, I didn't even have that.
Yeah,
I had my own line.
you
That's
did.
crazy.
I did too, but it was only because I told my parents I would pay for it because I had a job. So
I had 3 jobs.
I had to pay that $35 a month for that extra
That's
line
awesome.
every
That's
month.
so cool.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh,
I
that's
got
awesome.
cable in my room.
Chance, what is that? I
For my
can't
black
see it.
and white portable TV.
Here, I'll make him big.
Black
Give
and
me a
white
second.
portable. It's. I referred to this earlier. It's a stormtrooper with Han's head
Mhm.
underneath the helmet, and then real quick,
Does it have heads, hands?
and these are 1977 7-Eleven Coca-Cola cups. I have the whole set. In
Oh,
nice
wow.
condition. You can see them real quick. I love the artwork.
Is
Oh,
this a memory
Those are
of mine or
all-
not?
Those are
at
so
art.
incredibly familiar to me. I must have had those as a kid.
Mhm.
Like
We had some in the
unlocking
cupboard. I remember
memories,
that.
man.
Sorry.
What's the memory, Chris?
Hi, Zach.
Oh, Zach here?
Was that?
Zach!
Look at that.
Hey!
Hey, Zach.
Hey, Zach.
Did any of
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys have the McDonald's Star Wars cups, the glass one?
Yes,
Yeah.
we definitely
Yeah.
I
had
had
those in
I
my
one
did
of
house.
too,
them.
yeah.
I had one of them. I can't remember which one it was. Too bad I can't remember, but I had one.
Yeah, every single one of those is familiar, Chance. You're like, things I haven't.
That's the whole set. I have 2 of these. but
Crazy.
they're a strange plastic. If you could feel them, they're very brittle feeling. So yeah, I'm glad
I'm just-
I unlocked the memory for you.
Yeah, I'm just having like massive flashbacks. It's like, whoa.
Probably one of those plastics you shouldn't drink out of.
Probably.
It's from the
Yeah.
70s.
Chlorofluoric
It's one that
carbons.
makes you grow boobs or something.
It's got asbestos. Probably that's what happened to me. It's probably got asbestos in it too. Look, there's a little
Those are the
Ewok.
Burger King ones.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I
These
remember
are
those.
plastic
Yeah.
though. These aren't glass.
The girl with the
but-
cordless
right.
phone
Yeah.
must have been drinking out of those.
And these got fused together. I can't even take them apart presently. I have to put some hot water on it or something. But there's the barge, the party barge, Jabba's barge.
Yeah, we had a couple of those.
I remember party lines, Indy. But
Party
I'm not going to
lines?
talk about those memories.
And there's a glass Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh,
Don't make
he's
me
got
big.
more. He's
Here's
got
an
more.
Empire Strikes Back glass
Oh,
Coca-Cola.
wow.
Oh, nice. And Lando. Very cool.
I've got the Superman the movie set too from
Yeah,
1978.
I've seen those.
Those are, isn't that cool? I love the artwork. I mean, things are so cheaply made these days. I mean, this is just, it hasn't faded away over the years of washings in the dishwasher. Burger
Yeah,
King.
I've got a
BK.
Roku one that was made just like 3 years ago, and I don't even put it in the dishwasher. I wash it by hand, and it's
Yeah,
already
I don't-
faded off.
I don't wash any of my screen printed cups in the dishwasher or glasses in the dishwasher anymore because they all fade in the
Yeah,
dishwasher.
they immediately fade. Yeah,
Yeah. So
because
they
they're
all
so
get
cheaply
hand
made
washed
these
now.
days. They're not made
Yeah.
like that anymore.
Well, they don't use like the the cancer causing inks and whatnot with the lead in it anymore. So,
They're trying to ban food coloring in all food coloring. It's gonna
Yeah,
be whatever the food is,
RFK.
eat it.
yeah.
Not
Yeah.
Star Wars. No need to make me big. That's Bud World from the Olympic 1996 Atlanta Olympics. There was a great venue called Budweiser World. Bud World. And they had nothing but Bud girls in there, like women. It was just awesome. I mean, you had to be there. Sorry.
There's actually a
Okay.
funny meme going around. I mean, I don't mean to get political, but there is a funny meme going around where, like, because RFK is trying to ban all the food dyes, all of a sudden, Donald Trump turns pale. and he's no
RFK.
longer orange.
He'll be
Is
RFK.
he trying to ban the natural ones too, like the ones that they put in fruit? Loops or
No, the
whatever?
ones that are like made out of bugs and stuff. No, he's not trying to ban
like
those. He's
because
just
like
trying to ban
some
the
of them are made with
artificials.
beet juice and other ones are made with
Yeah,
this
the
or
natural
that,
ones
or,
are still okay. He's just
Okay.
trying to get rid of the artificial.
Just wait till
Yeah.
Cheetos Puffs are brown and look like pieces of feces. That won't be very appealing.
I thought they were yellow when they don't have the
They
color.
probably
on
are.
them.
I'm just
Yeah.
being silly.
No, but
Gotcha.
that is funny. It's-
Yeah. Look
That
like
would not
moose
look good
turds.
brown, would it?
No,
Cheetos
no.
Puffs. Yeah. No.
Indy.
Actually, from
in,
what I know about
Big
George
Bang
Lucas,
Theory.
he'd be tickled. George Lucas is weird like that.
I'm not into Lucas. He looked to me, no one will get this reference, so I better stop. But in Land of the Giants, first episode, there's an alien scientist, a giant scientist. He looks like a young George Lucas. He has the beard, the glasses,
Beard,
the way
glasses.
George looked in the 70s. Hey, trivia, guess who auditioned to play Princess Leia, one of many? Cindy Williams, who had worked for Lucas before in
You
American
didn't give me a
Graffiti.
chance to guess.
Yeah, there were
Sorry.
several that did. Yeah.
Several.
Right.
Yeah, same with Luke and all. Hey, does Chrissy want to do her Star Wars trivia before we run out of time?
Yeah,
I mean,
Chrissy, you
it's
want to say more trivia? Well, she
What
had
about-
a
I've been
question.
dropping it in chat. I've been
What
dropping
planet-
it in
Oh,
chat.
okay. Okay, cool.
What planet
Do
is
you have me
Princess
for the
Leia?
panel though?
Organa.
Audibly. Oh,
Well, Organa was the name
Oh.
of her dad, Senator Organa. That's not the planet. The planet is the one that blew up.
right. She didn't have
Alderaan.
multiple organs. Sorry.
Alderaan. Oh,
Yeah.
damn it. Yes, I said Organa. Alderaan, yes.
Alderaan. Alderaan is the correct answer.
Yes.
Damn.
It's okay.
You fail, Thrash.
It's okay. He's
I
lovely.
knew that too. That it's worse when I know the answer, but I blurt out something else. People say, "Bob, how does your mind work?" And I go, "Picture an auditorium full of people. Someone comes out and asks a question, and everyone in the audience screams out a different answer." So it's like
Yeah.
that happened. But
Gotta get
Obi-Wan
this
Kenobi.
to Damon's point real quick. That cutscene with Han and Jabba from Star Wars. There was a remember that crossbow. You see the crossbow really good because they show a shot of Chewbacca walking past, and that was used in a lot of the Topps cards. And I always wondered what that's from, and it's from that scene. Anyway, just a little factoid. You'd see the shot. Yeah,
It's
but
a
it's
bolt
a shot of
caster.
him holding his cool weapon. Yeah, there you go, Doug. Thank you. I love specifics. Details matter.
Like I said, we're all pedants.
okay.
Yeah.
Next question, Chrissy.
Yes.
I have to
Who
repeat it.
trained Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Yoda.
Yoda.
Count Dooku.
Other than Yoda, yeah, Count Dooku, yeah.
Ooh, I hate
It was
myself again.
Qui-Gon Jinn trained him. He was his
You
master.
know,
Your audio went out.
they all
Ding,
did.
ding,
Yeah.
ding, 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 ding. You are correct, D-Man.
Bye, Garn.
The gun gin.
It's in episode 1.
That's true. You actually do see it happening. Yeah.
I know.
Damn.
The answer is
master.
probably all three. Like they probably all trained.
Well,
him,
Well,
but-
Yoda probably completed his training when Qui-Gon died because he wasn't quite done, but they did promote him to master like right there at the Jedi Council
Yeah.
after he died. So
It-
they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
you're far enough along, you can pass the exam.
Emperor
You know.
Palpatine trained him too. It just depends. You have to be specific. Originally, if you said the word originally, who
Mhm.
trained, because details matter.
Details matter.
Which actor played the original?
With
We've
geeks
already
like
talked about this guy.
Oh, what's his name? Yeah.
David Prowse.
Yeah, that's it.
He also trained Christopher Reeve to pump up for Superman the movie. In the making of Superman the movie on
Oh,
YouTube,
did
it was a
he?
TV
Yeah,
special.
I
You
didn't know
see
that.
footage of him working out with Dave Prowse.
I didn't know that.
Free weights. Yep.
Hmm.
And like I said, you got to look up the Beta Cloud Space 1999. He's a cool monster in that. And it was literally when he's filming Star Wars, he took the day off and played this cool creature who's actually turned out to be a robot, not a living monster.
Yeah,
When,
it looks like
um,
a demon. It's got like red fur and like these big pointy ears and these big,
Yeah.
big bug
Like
eyes.
a big insect, right? Like a big cockroach. Yeah. You're right.
It's really cool, and it has like these like weird interlocking teeth. It's a really cool creature.
And the mouth moves, it's before CGI. I mean, they're really inventive. And it had like drool coming out of it. Like if you look closely on HD with the Blu-rays, I would just love it. Love that.
David Prowse actually taught me the lyrics to the theme song to Star Wars, and it's Star Wars. Paid off my credit cards, paid off my mortgage, bought me a car.
Oh, then you're going to the Bill Murray Saturday Night Live Star Wars.
No, that's a different version.
Star Wars. As long as it's in Princess Leia's Life Day song.
Oh God, no, please.
Yeah, when Mod shows up, you're going to have a bad Star Wars special.
Okay, Chrissy, did you have another trivia question? I got to at least
Yeah.
get one. Okay.
Okay. What does AT-AT stand for?
Oh,
All
I
terrain
know
armored
this.
transport.
Yeah.
Wow, that was fast. No, good
You have
job.
redeemed yourself, sir.
Thank you. Thank
You got it before I could even form the words in my brain. So you got that one legit.
Do you have
Thank
one
you.
for Damon, Chrissy?
Already answered one.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes, I do. Hold on. What was the color of Luke Skywalker's lightsaber in Return to the Jedi?
Green.
In return,
Yeah, I was about to say
Green.
green. Yeah.
Got the specifics of Return of the Jedi. Yeah. Because otherwise it would have been blue because he was using
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's.
That
Or
movie
he
turns
was using
42. That movie turns 42. And I saw that in theater like you did, Tug. Tears went down my face when the opening scroll appeared because I'd waited. I mean, there was a long line. I mean, we waited for like an hour and a half at least. When you're like 12, that's an eternity. And
Mhm.
I was with my buddy Larry Hutchison, the guy who stole my Star Wars figures and put the black ink on the bottom, the magic marker. Anyway, he's dead now.
Okay.
sadly.
yeah, he's dead now.
Um,
And
this
I didn't kill
question,
him.
Slave one.
that's the correct answer, but according to Disney, that's not the correct answer anymore. They've changed
That
it
is the
because
correct
slave
answer.
is problematic.
It'll be
It's
back.
the correct
They're going to
answer.
undo that. Just like the Washington Redskins will be back.
Exactly. Yeah. What was I going to say?
Who was Boba Fett's son?
Django.
No,
Fett.
Django was his dad.
It's actually
Oh,
him.
I'm sorry. God.
It is a trick question.
It is. You're right.
No clones allowed. Send
Yeah.
in the clones.
Send in
in.
clones.
Definitely a trick question because he didn't have
Yeah.
a father.
Yeah. But he
It's,
raises himself as his own.
It's
It was
two,
actually in his
right?
contract. He even says it's in his contract. He wants one of his younger. You know?
And Star Wars was not released on May 25th. It was in limited release, but it went wide in early June.
Right.
It was only in a few. I mean, it was in a lot of theaters, but not wide released on May 25th.
Is the answer 2? Okay, just
I
making
thought it was
sure.
rhetorical.
Good job, Tug, too.
Twin sons. It's twin
the
sons.
twin sons. Right. I was just making sure it was only 2, and not like there was like some mysterious third one I missed. I don't know. I was doubting myself. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. For the longest time when I was a kid, when I was really young, after seeing Return of the Jedi, I actually thought when people died, they disappeared. Like I thought that was a thing that happened in the real world.
Right.
That's cute. That's cute.
Well, I love the weapon too that you saw in the Star Wars Holiday Special in the cartoon that introduced Boba Fett. And I liked how in the Mandalorian, right, one of the first things in the first episode of Mandalorian, you see that weapon return. I thought that was so cool.
That is very cool. I agree.
Who directed that? I never can pronounce his name. Favreau, the actor who plays Happy and Iron Man, who plays
Jean Favreau.
Thank you, Favreau. I never can pronounce that correctly.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Got it from PCU.
What's the name of Princess Leia's cousin, who was the only non-principal character to be in all 3 of the original trilogy?
Princess Leia's
Cousin. He's in all 3 of the original. He's not a principal character, but he's in all 3. He's the only non-principal character to be in all 3.
I have no idea.
This is a better trivia question than I thought. I thought someone would get it by now.
Okay, say it one more time.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's a little convoluted. Okay. The name of Leia's cousin, who was the only non-principal character to appear in all 3 of the original Star Wars films.
I was going to say Wedge, but he's a principal. Wedge
No.
Antilles.
Wedge is not a principal.
A principal.
No.
You're right, Wedge Antilles.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
He's the only survivor, right? He survived.
Yes,
all
I
the
knew he
battles.
was, yeah.
Back to the Boba Fett thing. Django is who he was cloned from, so you could technically say he is his father. So,
Ooh.
Valid.
so I was right.
Point
But Wedge had a
conceded.
line, though. But Wedge had a line. I'm not going to debate. I'm not debating. I'm just saying when principal usually means that they have a speaking role. I'm just saying.
Well, okay, technically you are correct.
But
Yes.
I don't know.
It's more of a supporting role. He's only in a couple of scenes.
That's
He's not
true.
like in the
Correct. He's
movie.
supporting. You're completely correct, sir. Absolutely.
Well,
But
we've got
you got the question right, so
we've got a couple of member chats.
Shut
And
up.
For them, I got to play a short video. In honor of Star Wars, I should actually show
3, 2, 1. Have a nice day.
and
See, it comes full circle, man.
Yeah.
Because
I hate
Have a
to
nice
clip and
day.
run. I just looked at the time. I have to be somewhere at 3. So
Wow, yeah, we're way
Yeah.
past an hour and a half. I lost all track of time.
I could have bolt, but guys, this has
Bye.
been so much fun. May the 4th be with you. I'll see you.
we'll
all
see you
very, very,
tonight
very
on your
soon.
channel, man.
Yeah,
We'll
see
see
you
you
Yeah,
tonight.
please. Everyone come see myself with Sister Sarah and Dan at 7 o'clock. Peace out.
Bye. I literally had no idea we were this far in. That's
Yeah.
Oh,
crazy.
no.
I just enjoy
It's a
talking about
topic
Star
that could go on forever.
I
It goes
know.
on since 70s.
We'll have to do it again, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe we
You know what
can-
I might do on my channel? Is show
What?
every issue ever made of the Star Wars 1977 comic book. Take pictures
That
of
could
it,
be
really
cool.
show it. I think I'll do
Yeah,
a
yeah,
stream on that. It's a
watch
series
it.
I've been doing every issue ever made where I show 100 issues
Yeah.
or less of a complete Marvel Comics title.
I've caught bits and pieces here and there. It's been fun.
Yeah, it gets monotonous, I admit. I mean, because I'm just talking about the value of the book, and it
But it's
gets
cool.
boring, I must admit. But I try to take as many pictures as I can. Because I have a limit of 100 photos with StreamYard, as you all know. You use
Yes.
StreamYard.
Okay, well, I'm gonna call it because everybody's in the chat already saying goodbye. So goodbye, everybody in the chat. And yeah, I guess I'll just hit the button. Stick around on my channel in like 20 minutes. I've got a review of Phase 4 coming out. That's the Ant movie from the 70s, which I highly recommend watching.
Good to see you, Chance.
Yeah.
You too, Chrissy. Thanks for joining.
And of course, I will be back on Chrissy's channel on Saturday. I might show up on her unhinged BBB After Dark on Wednesday night. If I'm still awake, we'll see.
Oh,
I started a new thing Wednesday night.
you did?
Yeah, she
Yeah,
did.
it's uncensored and raw.
Oh boy.
Uncensored.
Uh-oh.
No pants required.
It's not that uncensored. But no, it's just raw, open, uncensored, adult 18 plus. And it's
Okay.
Wednesday night. BBB After Dark.
So okay, yeah, I'm gonna hit the button. Goodbye.
Later.
Thank you and good night.